Hello, math students. Welcome to Module 4, Expressions and Equations. This is Lesson 9, and it's called Writing Division Expressions. Our goal for today we will learn how to write expressions for division in two forms. The question that I want you to be thinking about is, are there multiple ways to write division expressions? And if so, what are they? Okay, things to remember. We need to remember what specific words mean in order to understand this process. So we have the word division, and what division really means is break numerical values apart into fractions. Okay, so that's what division means, is you're actually making it into smaller pieces, and smaller pieces of a whole usually are fractions. Dividend is the number being broken apart, so it is the actual number that you're making smaller. So this one right here is the dividend. It's the number being broken apart. The divisor is the number of parts the dividend is broken into. The divisor is also a factor. So the divisor is the number of parts. So that would be this one. Okay? And then the quotient is the answer to a division problem, and it is also known as a factor. Because if you take 8 times 6, you'll get 48. So that's where it becomes a factor. All right? So the dividend is the number being broken apart. The divisor is how many groups. Okay? And then the quotient is the answer. And that's how you have to remember those key terms. An expression, again, for another review of the word expression, an expression is a math sentence that uses symbols instead of words. The math sentence does not have an equal sign. So in order for us to have an example of an expression using the same thing that we've been working on, an expression uses symbols and numbers to make a math sentence. So 48 divided by 6 is the expression. An equation, just as another reminder and another review of this whole process, an equation is a math sentence that uses symbols instead of words, and the math sentence does have an equal sign. So 48 divided by 6 equals 8. That would be the whole entire equation. Hopefully you are pretty set with these already, because we've spent a lot of time working with expressions and equations. Okay, so now today we will learn how to write expressions for division in two forms. Okay, so it says write an expression for G divided by the quantity H plus 3. Oh my goodness, that one sounds complicated, but I think we can do it if we go slow. Write an expression. So there will be no, oh, you can't see it, so sorry. Okay, write an expression for G divided by the quantity H plus 3. First thing we have to do is we have to understand what all of these words mean. Expression, so we're writing a math sentence without an equal sign. For G, so it's a variable, divided by, so that must be the dividend, because remember the dividend is the number that it's being broken apart and G is being divided by. G divided by the quantity H plus 3. So that must mean that whole little group. When it says the quantity, it's talking about a whole little group. So the quantity H plus 3. So we have to do H plus 3 first, and then that whole thing has to be what we divide G by. Okay, so now let's write what we just said, because that didn't make it sound so difficult. G divided by the quantity, the whole little group. So since we're going to make it into a group, let's put it in parentheses, because that tells our brain, oh, this is a whole group. The quantity H plus 3. Oh, that was easy. Read it again. G divided by the whole quantity H plus 3. Okay, so that's one way to write it. But right here it says, today we will learn how to write expressions for divisions in two forms. So this is one way to do it, and this is how most kids think about the word divided by, is with this symbol. But the other way that I want you to remember always and get used to using, because actually in the higher math you go, we don't use this very often anymore. Instead, we write it using as a fraction. So we would say G divided by, and I've taught you that a lot this year, so hopefully that will be very simple for you to remember. G divided by the quantity H plus 3. write it like that because now you have G divided by that. If you want to put the parentheses on there, go ahead, put them on there. It's not going to make me sad, okay? So these are the two different ways that we can write the same expression for G divided by the quantity H plus 3, okay? So going back to our question for our lesson, are there multiple ways to write division expressions? The answer is yes. We can write it with a division symbol, and we can also write it with the fraction bar, okay? And so those are the multiple ways that we can do that, with the division symbol or the fraction bar, okay? All right, kiddos, that's all I have for you in this lesson. Thanks for listening. Bye!